Hey guys, we have a special guest. Wifey is
Hi,
alive and well
alive.
today. So hopefully you're having a great Friday and hopefully
Mhm.
you can join in. If not, we'd love to see you on the replay because there's always a dialogue, never a monologue. We're on the last topic. This should be the hottest topic, right? About reconnecting the bedroom. We had different topics that we covered this week, and now we're joining back in the bedroom and gonna go do a culmination of everything that we talked about, and we're talking about your sex life, our sex life.
Yay.
Creepy topic, right? No,
Really creepy.
no, it's not really creepy because guess what? The thing is that we're not gonna go dive into the acts and the position and the clothing and all that whatnot. This is TV 14 and below, no matter if this is on our television show or on our Facebook Live. But the acts, position, and clothing and the frequency is actually easy elements, right? And you're saying to yourself, what? I bent my leg backwards last week and it didn't work. No, I'm telling you, it's actually pretty easy to add to your bedroom. You do a little flexibility, you go over and do that. That's the easy portion of that, even frequency. But the actual hardest part, which we're going to be talking about today, is the connection is the most important long-term element that you need to thrive in the bedroom. Because come on, biology. You can really figure it out, read a book and go and do that. I know I'm kind of downgrading it a bit, and I know people go over and teach courses on this, but once they learn it, boom, they got it. But the connection, it fizzles. I mean, you can even tell in like person's affect and emotions that you ever come home and you're like, yeah, and then you say something wrong and boom, it over.
Yeah, if you're not loving on your spouse and in the boardroom and in the bedroom and doing on a consistent basis, when it comes time for intimacy, it might not go so well for you.
Yep. So today we're going to talk about how can you have consistent connection in the bedroom. We're going to give you some tips and tactics to contextualize to your spouse on what particular style, sexual personality style that they have. Because when you get back behind that bed, even though it's a virtual bed, it can be hot and heavy if you have the right connection. If you don't have the connection, doesn't matter if it's a virtual or real bed. It can be outside the bedroom.
Kids are not around.
Yeah, private beaches, whatever.
TMI.
Yeah, exactly. So we want you to go over it. We want you to connect with getting to know their personality style, because when you understand about sex, we're not going to go to the comments right now. No, this is always a dialogue, but we don't want to go overwhelmed with the comments. So we'll just check them real quick. Into me, see. Yes, Jenny.
That's a great one.
That is a great one. We'll try to look at the comments as best as we can, but we're going to keep with the content. So if you guys have a burning question, we will probably answer them at the end or at a pause in each personality style. So that's what we'll do. Put your comments in there. We'll get through one personality style, and then we'll go look for questions. So put your comments in there and stay alive with us. So we're adjusting and adapting as we go because we got 6 people watching. Yeah. Yeah. Hashtags.
That was fun.
Hashtags are beautiful. So the personality style actually goes over and dictates what they like, what speed, the frequency and mood and everything. And we think it's like, oh, well, if I just go and put the right lighting and the right candles and all these other types of things, or if I'm just really hot and heavy, I want to go, it's going to be that way. Nope. It's like when I first got married, it was like, yeah. It's funny when we're dating, the personality style doesn't go as much. We just want to be like freaky deaky hot.
And you really can't keep your hands off each other when you're dating.
Yeah.
But it just gets so strange after you get married for a while. And then it's a struggle to even keep it going sometimes.
Yeah. So we want to give you the fuel that keeps the fire under the sheets and goes and keeps it hot and heavy and whatnot. So we're going to be talking about that. So if this is true, the top comment we're talking about, then you need and I need to learn everything is about our unique personality style. So we're going to go jump in and get into Under the Sheets. And if you definitely want to learn more about this, you can go grab our book. We have a sale for a couple more days. Our Leave No Marriage Behind book digitally is 99 cents. And we'll tell you if you want to learn more on a masterclass towards the end. So keep watching. So the first thing to learn about your sexual personality style is actually 2 questions you have to ask yourself. And then once your spouse is comfortable, ask of them. And these questions are going to be ones that are going to mind blow you. So the first one we're going to talk about is, are you more outgoing or are you more reserved? I know you were expecting me to ask some freaky deaky sexual questions. Nope. So the sexual personality style first goes over and bases on pace. So if you're more outgoing, you're going to find out as we share that the bedroom energy is going to be a lot more lively. It's going to be a lot more fast. It's going to be a lot more quick. If you're more reserved, it's more of that slow jams, mellow, consistency, love throughout the day. So that's the first question you want to ask of yourself and ask of your spouse. Don't ask of others. Just keep it between you and your spouse. Okay. So, because these questions we use in other styles.
I mean, you can use it in other contexts, but please
Yes.
keep this between you and your spouse.
Exactly. So that's your first question. 10% of your sexual personality style or lack of having sex in your personality style is going to be on this first question. So the minor conflicts that come up before intimacy, during intimacy, after intimacy, or throughout the day that leads up to that point is because of that. You want to go hog wild and the person wants to go hog slow, or maybe doesn't even want to go hog nothing. So that's the first one. Our second question is, are you more task-oriented or people-oriented? In this particular regard, this goes over and it's an overall compass of what direction you're going to bring to the bedroom. So the pace is one thing. Pace is easy to adjust. You're going too fast. Slow it down a bit or speed it up. This is really boring. You know, that's easy to go over and do. But the task versus people, that literally can go either make the flames get really hot and heavy under the sheets or really drop and fizzle really, really quick.
Especially if you have kids and like things in the background, that could really, if you're a task oriented, it tends to be quite the struggle to give your spouse that time and that consistent quality time that they're looking for in that context.
Yep. 90% of your sexual wows and your sexual woes, I just thought of that on the fly. Sexual wows and sexual woes are going to be on this second question to go over and ask of yourself and your spouse. So these two questions combined are the main sexual personality style of your lover. So the way they answer this question is going to be on how their sexual style is going to go over and be. And there's a great book that, again, you can go to our book to go reference it. And if you really want to go in depth, go read the book Body and Soul, because that's where we get our context from. So I want to give credit where credit's due. Dr. Sandy Coleman, I'll put that in the notes. Really great, fantastic guy in the 90s wrote about this style. And I'm shocked this book hasn't gone like ultra viral. But, you know, sometimes Amazon loses things. But okay. So I found it. So the first style is the dominant lover style. And the way you're going to know that they're dominant is that they're outgoing and task-oriented. So if you've answered the question, outgoing and task-oriented, then you're more the dominant lover. I'd love for you to go answer that in the feed, those two questions. Are you outgoing or reserved? And then the second question is you more task-oriented or people-oriented? You don't need to go put in there, I'm the dominant lover, baby. Yeah, but you know, your choice. It's freedom in comments and whatnot. And usually the dominant lover is going to be like, I'm dominant, damn it. So here's a couple tactics that you know if they're the dominant lover. You don't even have to ask them the question. So if you're a little awkward in this conversation, you're like, I'd rather just take the information, kind of glean on what they go over and do and see what they are. We're going to share that with you. So we're going to share a few of those things with you. So the first one is that they're more focused on the goal of sex than the lover. So I know this can be very hard. This one right here, my wife's face just went plummeted, but
because I'm like, that sucks.
It sucks, but it's actually true. They think of sex as a task. And typically for the dominant lover, they will focus on the act of it. Now, when you're dating, you're focused on, hot and heavy and everything else, and the emotions and lust is wild. But when you're in marriage and you get comfortable and you actually go back to your normal self within like 2 weeks, like us, or 2 years is like, you know, the couples that are normally honeymoon stage. If they're a dominant lover, they're going to show that they're more focused on sex as the goal. And they're not trying to go like do the foreplay and all those other things and whatnot. So that's the first thing to go over and see. You're like, I kind of feel that sex was more for you than for us. If you have that sort of feeling, it's for them. That's number one. The second one is sex helps them relieve frustration. So if they've had a frustrating day, they might come home and want to have sex. Or if they had a frustrating time, or you get into a hot, heated argument, you're frustrated and you start going, woo, more than likely that
you have some fantastic facial expressions during this live.
You got to go over and captivate the audience, but I really feel this out. But sex helps them go over and relieve frustrations. So for them, if they're not running, jogging, anything else, sex is also another version of them to go over and to thrive in that particular regard. So for sex, like if you have a male or a woman, these are both either men or women. If they feel like I need to have sex, type thing, then they're more likely, they're more dominant in that particular style because it helps them relieve frustration. It's just not the 15-year-old kid that has the hormones binging that goes over and says like, I can't wait, type thing. It's the more the dominant stuff. She's really trying to hold her face. Like, I'm the more.
We have a 12-year-old. You just creep me out.
I'm sorry. Well, he's not 15 yet, so I
He's
pushed
gonna
it.
be 15.
Fine, the 85-year-old teenager.
Exactly.
Gonna have to get used to this stuff.
Oh.
So the next thing is for them is romance escapes them. So again, foreplay, flowers, candy, certain love languages usually escape them, like words of affirmation, physical touch, going over and planning everything out. They're like, you need that? So for them, it's like for them to woo, to go over and do it. Naturally, they just go over, and if they've learned emotional intelligence and they've gotten really wise, then great, they learned it. But it's not like they naturally get up in the morning and be like, chocolates with petals and flowers is me. That type of way. They're usually not that way. Going from there, you're about to laugh. You can laugh. It's okay.
I'm just absorbing.
No. So the next one is they like control in making decisions in the bedroom. Speed, styles, variations, chandelier, dishwasher, whatever type of things that you like to go over and do. They like to be in control of those decisions. If it's two domineering ones, it could be like a fight, like, no, I wanted you upstairs, downstairs, wherever it happened, it went. And that's when the conflict comes in. So they like to have control and they like to go over and make decisions. So if you have a dominant lover that goes over and says, hey, they feel like it's my way, and then you feel offended, and it goes out to the highway and it doesn't happen. Again, more of a dominant lover typically. And also for them, they're a fast-paced lover. So again, they're not much of a foreplay person. So they jump off and they go over, and again, it's typically naturally more for them than anything else. So they're like, that's it. Meet the requirements, get your desire, excitement, orgasm, release, and punch. So for them, they like to do it fast-paced. They don't want to go be like 45 minutes of massage and then we start. Could have done this 17 times already. And with that, since they're a fast-paced lover, foreplay is not on their mind. Naturally. They naturally just don't want to go do foreplay. They want to be like, done. Let's go to the next activity. Let's go do that, and then do skydiving. Or maybe we do that while we're skydiving type thing. They like to go and have that. Couple more things for the dominant style, and then we're going to jump into our next style, is they like varied activities. So if you think sex got to be steady Eddie, 3 p.m., every single Wednesday, certain type of thing.
Who's having intimacy at 3 p.m.?
People that are not 9 to 5ers. Their kids are in school and COVID's over. Maybe they have a second floor like we have, but we don't have our bedroom on this bottom floor. High recommendation, if you buy a house, get your bedroom on the bottom floor and have the kids on the top floor. That can increase intimacy frequency too. Used to be a lot more when we were downstairs, lock the door, put a barricade, go over, and noise blocking and everything else, But now we're on the second floor and it's scary. But they like varied activities. Back to where they're at. They like to have varied activities. So, they're the person that say, you crazy, you want to do it in the garage? You want to do it where? You want to hang off what? What? There's no way. My leg can't bend that far backwards. Whatever it is, they like to have varied activities. They're not the ones that like the same sort of thing. And lastly, before we give you the secret tip of the dominant style lover, is sex is a conquest for them. So it's like they conquer a goal, king of the mountain, winner, chicken dinner type thing. They go over and they like to have sex as a conquest. So now with all that, you're probably saying to yourself, the dominant lover is a beep, beep, whatever. You're probably saying that. Now, here's the secret tip that they need to learn, or you go over and you share with them if you have this type of lover. The secret tip for the dominant lover to go over and to go from dominant to dynamic to damn, You know what I'm saying? Most likely your partner won't be most likely your partner won't be dominant in the bedrooms. So, so I'm more dominant, she's not. I really wrote this wrong. I'm going to try to re-explain this on the fly. Is that most likely if you're the dominant lover, you're probably going to marry an opposite style person in the bedroom. So your goal is not to have sex as a conquest and go over and go fast and those type of things. We know you like those things. We don't want to change your likes. But to go over and serve well and to go from a good lover to a great lover is to go over to change the focus. Now the spouse's emotional, sexual well-being is that. And when you do that, that conquest will carry more dividends. Do you have any thoughts with that?
Nope.
So,
I agree.
So going from there, you might not be the dominant style. The dominant lover is only 10% of the population. So we don't want everybody to be a dominant lover or the population wouldn't have made it, So the next style is more the inspiring style. So if you've answered the question, you are more outgoing and people-oriented, then you're more of the inspiring lover. And now let's go jump into that. So for the inspiring lover, sex will be great with them. You go over and you have an inspiring lover, it's like, wow, because they don't want to be rejected. So they're going to try to figure out everything that you like in the capacity that you do, in the frequency that you do, and they will go over and perform. They might not want to be romantic, but they don't want to be rejected. So they will become romantic. They don't really want to be fast, but they become fast because they don't want to be rejected. They don't want to do a 45-minute massage, but they're like, if I don't get rejected, I'll do 80 minutes. So for them, they do that because they don't want to be rejected in that realm. They're also very creative. So these are the people that go over and really get a doctorate degree in the sexual department with you. They go over and figure out what your needs, what your wants, and what your desires in that particular regard. And from there, they also like to have open communication on their desires, their expectations, and needs. So they're going to tell you, like, I need this in the bedroom. This is what I'm expecting. Here's my emotions. I'm just going to put that out there. And you're going to be like, and the thing is that they want you to be the same. So if you have an inspiring lover, they want you to share your sexual desires, your expectations, and your needs with them, carrying it back and forth. Now, if you have the goal of, not the goal, you have the opportunity that you're both inspiring lovers, you'll have a deep connection naturally, and you'll have frequent sex. And sometimes you'll go have so much connection that your emotional connection and your communication, if you're an inspiring lover, is more important to them as sex. And sometimes, if you have those moments when you're dating, like you talked for like 6 hours and the sun came up, that type of thing, and you felt so deeply known and everything else. For them, that's a normative. They want to have that. They're like, let's talk until the sun comes up. And they'll forget the time. And for them, that's more than sex. They're like, that's my Dior. That's my Dior. Now, as you're going over and they're the person that's going over and loving on you, what they need is praise. So if you're the verbal lover, and even not the verbal lover, if you're more the quiet person in the bedroom, they want you to be louder in the bedroom. If you're the only moderate person in the bedroom, they want you to be, really praising it. Now, it gets awkward with kids, of course, those types of things and everything, whatnot, but they won't mind. You might be ashamed if you're not that type of lover, but for them, they're like, so if you can go even do that occasionally, go over, at a hotel, wherever you ever have it, they want to hear the praise verbally. They don't want to be just like after the job, like, they're like, they really want to know. They really want to know. So your secret tip for them, if you are an inspiring lover or if you have an inspiring lover, so wherever you're at in the place, if you want to have great sex, see, I forgot some of my words. If you want to have great sex with an inspiring lover, or the inspiring lover wants to have great sex, work out the conflicts. Don't go over and hold them on. They will literally, if they're in conflict with you or you're in conflict with them, nothing's going to happen. They're going to want to work out that conflict. Me and my wife, so many times, it's like, it would just be like, we'd be in conflict And then she'd be like, I want you away from me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
let me have more of you. I need to work this out. And the thing is that until that worked out, so even if I was in the mood, and I'm a guy, the typical stereotype is like, we're always turned on and we always want it. No, it's the style of the person. So I'm more the inspiring style. And it could come in our relationships like, just get her done. And I'm like, we're not worked out. There's nothing being done. Nothing. And so if you want to have great sex with the inspiring lover, work out the conflicts. So, and the inspiring lovers, sometimes you got the other style people that are not ready for that. You got to walk the walls of Jericho. Bashing the walls down don't always go over and work. You'll be having no sex, depending on the personality style you deal with the people that you have.
Person.
Not
people.
Sorry, going so fast.
No.
1. Going so fast sometimes. I am more also with the inspiring style. We can be a tad illogical, but that's on more of the communication. So going from there, that's 2 of your styles. So where do you resonate so far? Do you see yourself as more of the dominant lover? Do you see yourself as more of the inspiring lover? I'd love to go put that in the feed to go see where you guys at, because this is always a dialogue. Always remember that. So now we're getting into the softer side of the sexual seers, and they don't give any refunds and they don't go over. Yeah. Anyway, so going from there, we got more of the supportive lover, and for them, they typically wouldn't even jump on a live and talk about this stuff because they're more quiet. They're more reserved and more people oriented. So a lot of people that are watching right now, that we keep seeing the numbers jump back and forth, those are the people that you're more likely to fit that style. I don't even have to have you talk to me to know where you sit at. Because the first thing you go over and look for is, if you want to have intimacy with them or they're wanting to have intimacy with you, you need to build 3 things to have great sex: security, trust, and commitment. These are the people that, even if they don't have a moral-based system, that is their moral-based system. Their moral-based system is security, trust, and commitment. So I need to be secure in the relationship, that everything is okay. My wives have told me that several times. Trust that you're going to be there through and through. And whatever you go commit to, you need to commit. So if you said death till you part, it's like, well, it's going to have to be death, and it's going to have to be natural. And you can't just go over and be like, you can't just offer them an insurance claim and stuff like that.
And you can expect these characteristics of security, trust, and commitment to be, overnight. I mean, you can't, get married and then, expect in 3 months that these things are going to be cemented down, especially if the person has abuse or brokenness and they have trust issues. I mean, we've been married for almost 14 years, mm-hmm. and we still have to constantly, reaffirm these things to keep it, to understanding that, yes, I can trust, yes, I'm secure. And yes, we still have a commitment to each other. It's not, 14 years, mm-hmm. It's not an overnight process. And if you breach that trust with your partner, with your husband or wife, or, this is going to come crashing down, and it's going to be very hard to restore.
Yeah, that's for the people that are more the supportive lover that are going to have that. If you're more of a dominant lover, transactional trust is a lot faster with them. So make sure you know your lover. Next one, constant and reserved. So consistent. No, it's constant.
This
is my own. No, this is my own words. Okay. So hold on. Consistent. No, it's not. It's constant, because the way it goes. So you have to be constant in the bedroom. They like habitual things. So if you have that time, you want to be constantly going over and affirming them all throughout the day, and also in bedroom love. They look for constant things. And they're very reserved in the sense that they're not going to go for the new thing. So if you're all hog wild on the new position, the new mantra, the new sexual tantra, sexual tantra and type of things, they're not going to jump in that. Whatever they go and feel comfortable, that's their constant that they go back to. And they're not going to go just jump in to be like, yeah, I want to do it this way. I found this on the internet. No, typically not. But they go over and bring a lot of passion, and their mood is key. So they're very passionate people, and whoever they go over and connect with, and their mood on how they are is key. So we'll go back to the comment in a second once we get to a transition point. So passion and mood is key for them. So if their mood, you want to go grab the mood when you can in that particular regard.
Feed him a snack.
Yes. That's
I know, but a cranky, hanger is real. And
yes.
If somebody's hangry, nobody's getting anything.
If it's hungry, they're angry, they're lonely and tired, you're not going to get anything. I don't care if it's been a week, a month, a year, a decade. You could have been like on Space Force with the conjugal visit scheduled on that episode.
I mean,
it's really funny, but
you were deployed and coming home, and then I was just pissed off, and I didn't care you were gone for how many months.
Oh yeah. So you got to invest into keeping the mood. So grab a Snickers, I guess.
Yes, grab a Snickers.
The cool thing about them as lovers is like fine wine, it gets better with age. So they're more passionate, they become more free, they break more out of that reserve stuff because they have the security, trust, and commitment. And then they go over and the sex gets better. So if you've had year one in your marriage and you're like, this is, and if you're the dominant spouse, like, this is kind of dull. And you're like, I thought it was going to be this. It's like, no, it's going to get better with age. They're going to feel more free. And as you provide the security, trust, and commitment, they're willing to try stuff. They're willing to be vulnerable, but they got to be in a safe place to go over and do that. You don't just go over and have them try and be like, that sucks royally. You're done. So give them that trust, give them that security. And from there, intimacy builds throughout the day. So for them, you're investing all throughout the day.
And it's the little things like a text message to say I love you, or leaving a note for your spouse, or the hug out the door. It's not anything that's expensive. I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but just it's the little gestures that show that you care, because from a supportive style, if you ignore them all day and then expect, stuff to happen, they're going to be like, what the hell? You ignored me all day and now you want this? I mean, it just doesn't go well.
And it goes back of getting your doctorate degree in your spouse, as we talked about earlier this week. So going from there, with their words of affirmation, build that sexual checking account. So as you go and say, you're beautiful, you're sexy, you're gorgeous, thank you for going over and being with me. And I'm saying this to her at the same time.
I know.
And it builds that sexual checking account that when the time is right, or when the kids go to summer camp, whatever happens, I'm waiting for those moments.
Can't wait for kids to go back to school.
Yeah, they do an online summer camp. Isn't that depressing?
That's not
We have to pick up the stuff to go over and do that. And I'm
yeah.
We had 4 weeks of summer camp last year. That was gorgeous.
The kids have been home for a very long time.
I know.
Since March?
Yeah, since March.
Oh, man.
So build those words of affirmation into that checking account. So, it's most important. Going from there, they are the most sacrificial partner. So they're the ones, guy or a girl, that are willing to be like, I'm not worried about myself. You can just go. I'm worried about your sexual satisfaction. I'm worried about this. And they'll go over and be like, did you get there? And, if you say that later on, they're going to be like, no, I was at a 2. The inspiring style is punching themselves in the head. No, I wanted you at a 10. But they sacrifice and they go over and they say, like, when you have an I and an S in the bedroom, the I is wanting you to get there, but the S is like wanting you to get there because they're sacrificial, and you both stand there. You're all at a 2. You're all at a 2.
Inspiring and supportive.
Yes, inspiring and supportive. Sorry, I get excited.
I know you do.
All right. So going from there that's why we do these little banners. Yeah, banners. So the secret tip for the supportive lover, and we're going to check in the comments in a second, is a secret tip for the supportive lover is be consistent in your love out of the bedroom. So this bedroom back here, you can't just go and be like, yeah, you're like fine wine and you're great and whatever. And you get out the room like, it doesn't work. You got to show it all throughout the day. Like, I wasn't a person that, hugged when I left and say I love you at the door.
Your physical touch and your words of affirmation are like in hell. Like, they don't, without development, they didn't exist.
But I grabbed God-like gloves, and now I was able to go in hell and resurrect it out.
A lot of development and a lot of improvement over the years, but it took years.
Yeah. So go back to our couple lessons from a couple days ago and learn about those love languages, because that's key. So you want to do it from the time waking up till the time going to bed, and it's a continual investment. And if you're not those love languages, it's going to take time. For the supportive lovers.
But the cool thing is that when you understand how your spouse is wired and the way that they're communicating love to you, then you can learn to interpret what they are doing as love. So, I mean, it is definitely a give and a take on both spouses.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to the comments real quick. Wow, Kelly Kirkpatrick. That's a long one. We're going to read that real quick before we pop that on. Looks like Kelly said the problem is priorities. We as a glutamous society prioritize things in keeping
society,
which causes a tremendous amount of stress on relationships. The problem in a nutshell. Ever spend countless hours away from your family in the pursuit of living up to Joneses? What your focus is grows lack of focus of your loved ones in the marriage is easy outcome. Kelly, that's a great comment,
that's huge.
That's huge on that we realize that. We need to become more of a society of a serving mentality.
And stop keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, there's so much consumerism and so much greed. And I would agree that there's a lot of prioritization. I mean, there is a time and a place to make money and grind. But if your grinding is at the cost of your family, unless you were in a situation where it's life or death, if you're about to go homeless, I mean, cut your standard of living to preserve your marriage. Who cares if you have $3 million if your marriage just went up in flames and now you're paying alimony and child support and all kinds of crap? I mean, it's not worth it.
And we've been talking about the past couple of days, so we need to reconnect in the bedroom first to make those living room and boardroom dreams come to reality.
Now, if you want to do something fun, like before, when we were in a position when we left Phoenix, right before that, we needed to grind, but we got the same job. So we got to work together in two places, like a ballot place and then Axon making tasers. And I actually like working with this guy. He's hilarious and fun. And we used that time to bond and to work together towards a goal. And we didn't get separated because of it. We grew closer within that. And I'm not saying that you can always work with your spouse if you were in a situation where you are trying to maintain a lifestyle. But if that lifestyle is at the cost of your marriage, then you need to reevaluate how can you readjust?
Because a lot of times the average American's changing their job 9 times in a lifetime.
And you can go to a job and put up with crappy coworkers for 20 years. I mean, the minute you lose that job or get fired or laid off, they don't know who you are and they don't care about you. I mean, your spouse is the one that pledged to be with you until the day that you no longer are on this earth.
And we're going to take that and put that on the shelf and get back into the bedroom. So going from there, the last one, because if you're watching this on the replay or live, is we haven't skipped you.
Nope.
You're important.
You're thinking about it.
We're thinking about it. And it's the conscientious lover. You're saying, is this real? Is this just made up? Are they just going over and throwing out content for fun? I need some verification. I need to check on some science of this thing. So you're more of the conscientious lover if you're going over and questioning every single tag. So for the conscientious lover, they're a technical lover, and 10 is the goal. If it's not possible, their mind's like, why try?
Why do I think of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can think of Sheldon's character from The Big Bang Theory.
Show. Anyways.
So for them, they go over and they want it to go over and to be really well. So why are they going to go over and try? So you need, if you are this technical lover and you're more the conscientious style, then yes, go over and get in your mind, get it all planned out, everything else. But the thing is that most of us, if we're not the conscientious lover, we're fine with an 8. So going from there, their emotions are like Mr. Spock. So they're more, and these people are reserved.
I'm assuming we know who Spock is. I'm like,
Mr. Spock is world renowned. He's been around for lots of years. Okay. If you don't know Mr. Spock, please Google Star Trek. Because Leonard Nimoy, if you really need to know the guy's actual name. But so their emotions are not on their sleeve. They're deep inside. They don't usually come out. They're reserved. They're task oriented. Their emotional side of Sears is really behind the door and behind the curtain until they really are comfortable. And they're more task. They just come straight forward like this. That's how they connect. Because sex for them is like a math problem. Follow the steps for the correct answer. And then do those continual steps again to go and do that. And if you can improve upon the math problem and find a more efficient way to get to that problem, either faster, better, and cheaper and everything else, which hopefully sex is not cheap. But anyway, in that particular card.
Sure not. We got 4 kids, man.
Yeah, sex can be expensive. Yes, it can. especially when they eat your food because they forget you're in the garage doing a live, even though you tell them every day.
So often they eat his dinner.
They eat my dinner. So, but fortunately, I'm not the conscientious spouse. So, so for them, if you critique them and say, I kind of wish you did this better. I kind of wish you moved in this position. You're kind of crushing me. Whatever it is, no matter what the thing is. And they're like, my leg kind of went numb. For them, if you just critique them straight and say, like Tuesday night quarterback sex edition, and you're going over like, here's the things you went over and did wrong. And next Saturday when we go over and play, we're going to have a win. Yeah. And they're like, they emotionally, they transactionally withdraw. And for them, you got to have the right in their life to go over and say that even though you're getting freaky deaky with them, that you haven't earned the transactional trust to talk about them in that particular realm. And also for them, they want you to keep your commitments to them. So for example, you're like, great night, gonna have a hotel, haven't had a sexual escapade in like a few months without the kiddos and everything else, and you have everything planned, and let's say you ask them to do something before. Let me say this right. So they asked you to do something before. Let's say it was like setting up the car or getting gas or whatever it is, and you said, I'm going to get this done. And let's say you didn't. And you still have plenty of gas to go. They will go over and like, you didn't go over and do this. So now the sexual escapade that you've been planning for like 3 months, gone. So you want to ensure you can keep your commitments into that particular goal, because you literally could take a whole entire romantic weekend out the thing because you didn't move the toothbrush or whatever commitment you went over and made to them in that regard. It could be something going to the escapade or just in between, and they're like so exhausted that you keep breaking commitments. They're like, why am I gonna go over and give of myself if these commitments can't be kept? We got a couple more. They are slow movers. And I'm not saying that they move like this when you're having sex. I'm just talking about that they go over and they're not wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But once they get going, they're excellent performers. They're always trying to bring the grade up. So if they go over and they're at a 10, if there's a way to bring the scale to 11, they're going to go do that. They're always about excellence. And that's going to benefit you if you're the person on the back end or the front end or whatever. And you go, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yes. So overall, the secret tip for the conscientious lover.
You just said that.
I did. Hey, everybody has their own preference. Yeah, it's okay. So the secret tip for the conscientious lover. So if you're coming from there, you want to praise them. So I get the framework wrong. So the conscientious lover does a great job. Then you want to praise them for the performance in detail. And then you'll get their heart too. Because at first it's all about like, and then once they go over and show that they are doing awesome, now they can share their heart. So you have true intimacy and connection. Because at first it's all about performance for them, and then they go over and transform to connection. So you want to praise them in their performance. Now, not during. They're going to be a little weird. It's like, I'm already pressing so many buttons and doing so many things. It's just really complicated. Don't. After the effect. The high inspiring style is like, praise me now, praise me in between, praise me after, praise me before. The conscientious person is like, let me focus on the task at hand, get a win, and then you go over and praise them after. So what we want you to go over and do is, with all this information, and this has been a long live, is our superhero challenge for you guys today. And then we're going to give it to Wifey's Corner to go over and give her golden grams of wisdom. It's probably gold. I can't say the other word. Golden grams of wisdom. I can't say the other word, but we'll get into that later. Is the superhero challenge for today is to ask your spouse these 2 questions. And then go have fun in their way and see how it goes. You don't have to report back if you did it. But if you want to, and just say like, hey, the questions worked wonderful. That would be
just
a good
thumbs up in the comments is all we
thumbs
need.
up or hearts and that.
Please no details.
Yes. Even though the inspiring style wants to get pretty much all the details.
No.
So no, we don't need play-by-play. We just need to be like, hey, this going over and brought your marriage up, you know? So now we're going to shift to wifey's corner and then we'll finalize it out.
I would say that each one of these styles is important, and it's, learn your spouse's style so that you guys can serve each other and love each other well. I mean, seasons of life are going to come that are your intimacy is going to wax and wane. When you've had a baby, I mean, there's not going to be a lot going on. You're going to be tired and exhausted. If your husband or wife is deployed, I mean, there's going to be seasons of life when intimacy is going to look a lot different. But for the typical married couple, living the typical life, these things are something that if you want to have more frequency, this is something really to understand. I mean, if you don't want to have frequency, I mean,
just get off the live and just turn it off.
But I mean, to have a healthy marriage and to have that connection, intimacy is what's going to bond you together. It does. And without it, it's just you open yourself up to temptation. And I mean, other people can look awfully attractive if you're not looking at your spouse. So
I would totally agree with that. And last and certainly not least, this is always a dialogue, never a monologue. So put your comments in here before, put your comments in after, have questions, direct message us.
Yeah.
We give 20 minutes free to every military veteran and first responder that goes over and connects with us. And if you're severely struggling in those areas and you need context of like, hey, sexual intimacy is not even there. I can't communicate. I can't connect. I don't see light goals. I don't see dreams and everything.
Yeah, if the intimacy goes, your relationship goes usually.
Yep. And from there, you can see on the ticker on the bottom that you can go, and this is a discount for the next couple of days, and it goes back up, is that we're offering a full asynchronous class. That means do it at your own pace and still connect with us at the same time on this book, Leave No Marriage Behind. Going through the trials and tribulations, helping you go over and thrive. This is like the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, if you're younger, you don't know what I'm talking about. So basically, it's like the internet all condensed into like a book.
That references back from when there was no internet and everything was in books, in the big, volumes. Like people would have books, like sets of like giant books that were the Encyclopedia Britannica.
So we're packing that in asynchronous videos that you can do at your own pace with homework behind it. And going over, and you have 6 independent war hero to superhero consultations with one of your war hero to superhero consultants, myself, my wife, or one of our team, to go over and connect with, to take your marriage to go from surviving to thriving. And it's discounted at 50% until Monday, and then we go back. So we wanted to offer that to you. So if you're struggling and you need to go over and go to the next level, to take that struggle and make it a strength, to go take that mess and make it a message, to take that trial and to make it a testimony, so your marriage goes into the next space and legacy, we love to go over and connect with you. The link is down in the feed in the banner. If you totally forget, just direct message us. We can connect you with all our resources. So, but that's pretty much about it. And the conversation is never over. So always hit us up on here, on Podopolo, also on War Hero to Superhero, on your local streaming device next to you. And we'd love to go over and connect with you to help you to thrive. So any closing shots, wifey?
No, I think it's about good.
All right. So thank you guys. Again, we love to go over and connect with you.
Yep. See you next time.
And we'll see you on Monday, not in the bedroom anymore. We're going to go transition to help you reconnect in the living room.
It's a good living room.
So have a good day.
Bye.